All right, Sunday Racing comes through from Hollywood Bet Scots or Peter Maritzburg. It's 12:30, the off time to that first of 8. So we're going to go straight down to the business of exotics. And it is a bipod, which will be selected by Mr. Marie, who is standing by with his thoughts to that first leg. But let's start off with Darren. A very warm welcome to you, Darren. Race number 2, it is quid pro quo. Will we get something for something in race number 1 at the third attempt?
Yes. Now, this horse on debut, she was a little bit outpaced, jumped slow, green, and took off late. Then second time out, I thought this filly needs 1,200 meters plus. And she went up with the pace and stayed on one pace. Now, the 1,200 meters, she's going to go handy, sit just off the speed, and I expect her to just unwind and accelerate away from this field with the experience under the belt. So a confident banker, quid pro quo.
Mr. Marie, you corrected me off air. The horse that ran just behind the quid pro quo came out and beat a subsequent winner last week in the form of Growfield, whom everybody labeled. Am I correct there?
I'll take your word for it, Cecil.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah.
Final One was just behind quid pro quo when it ran its first race in KZN.
Fine.
Fine One. That is the Fine One who beat Growfield, who in turn came out and won.
Okay, yes. Cecil, this filly showed good pace in her second start, unlike her debut. And she looks a bit in trouble going through the 300, but then she rallied late. So I'm in full agreement with Darren. I think she's crying out for the extra. And on paper, it looks like she's an absolute penalty kick. But you have to have respect for Mr. Miller's filly because his comments in the front of the computer form are very upbeat. That's number 8, Magical View. He says she's a very nice filly and she's well related. Her full brother was Full Blast, who won 2 out of his first 4 starts. So obviously on paper, I like quid pro quo, and I'd love to see Borant break the ice in the KwaZulu-Natal. So I've opted to bank her in the bipod. I'll be very upset if she doesn't get us through.
That is a sight we don't want to see, so let us hope that the quid pro quo does come through and win. Let's have a look at that bipod selection. It is starting with that first, and we have 2 bankers, and by Mr. Marie's standards, in spite of those 2 bankers, we have an outlay of 300 Rand, so hopefully you do come through with that bipod. Race 1, 12:30 at Scottsville. Race number 2 will make up the first leg of the PA. Promises to be an interesting start to the PA because the exposed form, we have it in the form of the 2 Havana Moon, and then we've got the likes of the 8 China Berry and the 10 Samuel Longsword, as well as the 11 Gold Rush Kid. In my conservative opinion, the last named would be bringing in the best form in the race, but that's up to conjecture. Which way would you be siding if you were asked to name the top 2 of the exposed form lines?
Exposed form line, definitely number 10, Samuel Longsword.
Okay.
Ran third on debut, beaten 4 lengths. Second horse was Growfield.
That's correct.
Came out and won. So I think that's possibly the best form line.
Mm-hmm.
Numbers 2 and 11, nothing separating the 2 of them. Number 2's being gelded subsequently. Number 11 appears to be the stable elect with the jockey bookings. So I'll put both of them in. By now we'll know the results of the first race. If quid pro quo happens to have won, then this form line of number 8, China Berry, has been franked. And I think he'll enjoy the extra 200 meters. He was detached on debut and staying on. And then I've added number 1, River Dance, of the first timers. So I played very wide in the opening leg of the PA.
Yes, indeed. We'll confirm that shortly as we go to Mr. Burrows. That China Berry form line is certainly looking pretty decent. Richard Fourie, rather, should suit, and he's done well with Wendy Whitehead in recent times in KZN. Darren.
Yeah, I don't know what to make of this race. There's lovely bred first-timers, Dapper, So, Star, a couple of others as well, the Lodge, the racehorses, and, the first-timer River Dance, also a lovely speedy pedigree. Racehorses, Havana Moon, horse like China Berry, Samuel Longsword, Gold Rush Kid, all got chances. I don't know what to make of it. If there's big support for a first timer, I would follow the money.
Yeah, indeed. River Dance, and it's worth noting that the breeder, one of the breeders, that is the Pippa Mickleborough, has a share in the race, in the horse itself, which usually is a pointer as to the ability that is there. But that's an outlay from the Daryl Marie PA selection of 480 Rand. And again, we have two bankers, but it still comes up to that 480. So I dare say the exotics will be the way to go. Certainly the first two, PA and the bipod. Okay, so we're into race number 3 now. Just confirm to me, Mr. Marie, because like Mr. Burrows, you always have your ear to the ground. Am I working this out properly? F. Grayling, that would be the much-traveled and very experienced Frikkie Grayling, who's now got his license.
That's correct. He's having his
congratulations to him, and we wish him well.
Apparently he's training from the old, what's it, Yellowstar Stud.
Yellow Star Stud, that would have been the
Mr. de Klerk. And,
Mr. de Klerk, who were big patrons to Chris Erasmus.
Yes.
Okay.
And also, the other trainer, he doesn't train anymore, Van Wyk.
Van Wyk, the colour guy.
Yeah.
Gentleman,
yeah.
yes.
So we wish Frikkie all the best. Cecil, the Gin Boys will be all on number 2 of Jazz Cafe. But on paper, there's absolutely nothing separating the number 2 and 10, Dawn Surprise and herself. They both have to be respected. I like the look of number 6 over here, To the Stars and Back. In her penultimate start, when she was returning from a rest, the word was out and the money was down. And she was well beaten on that occasion. Then last time out at Greyville, returned respiratory noises. This time round, having a peak run, and the tongue tie gets fitted. So that interests me. I think To the Stars and Back could possibly set the record straight and get it right in a full start. Watch out for number 1 if there's any money. Sunshine Sally, fairly well related. But yeah, Cecil, I'm going for number 6 over here, To the Stars and Back.
All right. No comments in the front of the book about the one?
Quartet Chance looking for further.
Thank you so much, Mr. Burrows. Race number 3, Mr. Marie is looking for a bit of a spook here in the form of the 6 To the Stars and Back. Wasn't a spook at all, and the betting was your favorite, but didn't quite perform. Are you expecting the improvement with the headgear?
Not really. I thought To the Stars and Back. I think she's not cheap speed, but I think she's 1,000-meter horse. On what I saw in her penultimate start, she showed pace and just faded. Last time out, never in the race. So let's touch on Frikkie Grayling's runner, a Rafif out of a woman's way. Now, Frikkie Grayling was my favorite assistant trainer when he was still with Mike de Kock. Horse Chestnut days, traveled the world with Mike de Kock, had major success. Probably one of the best horsemen around. And it's great that he's taken out his own license because he's different class.
He also came to Charlie Laird when Charlie Laird had all those horses for one particular owner, and then on to the Glen Coston stable. He's certainly done the rounds, huh? He's earned his stripes.
Definitely, and I think he's going to make a good trainer if he gets the support. Sunshine Sally, a lovely pedigree. This filly could win. But I thought the value lay with Miss Platina. Now, I thought her debut wasn't bad behind Women of Power. And they put her over a mile next time out. And I thought this filly's not going to stay. And that's exactly the case. Now, dropping back in trip, first run in the province with the allowance off her back at 20-1. Don't ignore Miss Platina. And the obvious inclusion here is Dawn Surprise. So I've gone Jazz Cafe. I think I've gone 2, 4, 10 and 11 in the pick 6.
Well, let's just confirm that as we round off race 3's preview. 2, 4, 10 and 11 indeed. And then we've got that banker, which will be a popular selection right across the board come Sunday. And that is race 4. Court Elevate Track and Ball, fixed odds. It is a maiden plate over the 1,400 meters. First leg of the first jackpot at 2:15. And again, for a weekend meeting, a Sunday meeting, as opposed to the last few, decent sized fields right across the board. And race 4 is no exception. The second last runner on the card in race number 4 is the one we're going to get straight to, Mr. Burrows. It is a Tommy Riss, whom I see our select and computer form also pays a lot of attention to.
This horse should win. I was impressed with that last run. There was market support right in. They do rate her because on debut there was also market support in. Her second start was good. Her third start she showed more improvement. And just if improving another length or even a repeat of that last run, she'll beat this field. So this is a confident banker for the pick 6. And currently at 14-10, I thought he's worth a bet.
That is a confidence selection number 9 at Tommy Riss. Mr. Marie, anything you'd like to add to that? I know that in your exotics thus far you have bank at Tommy Riss. And would you go so far as to say is a shoe-in?
Cecil, she was so unfortunate last time out not to have won. Jason Gates went towards the inside, then he had to switch once again towards the inside. Eventually got a run up the outside, and she took off. If she just reproduces that effort, I think she'll take all the beating. I actually believe she's going to win more than a maiden. She'll win a few in the handicaps, and she's a filly to follow. So I'll be bitterly disappointed if she doesn't get it right.
And he's sponsored, if memory serves me right, after he won with Bob. I think he alluded to the fact that they sponsor him, don't they?
Yes,
Jason Gates, that is.
Yeah,
that
he gets a lot of opportunity from Glistian. What's it, Glistian?
Yeah.
And judged on his last ride, I think he'll certainly want to get it right this time round.
Okay, so that is a confidence selection, a unanimous selection is number 9 at Tommy Riss. And Mr. Burrows, who's done the selection for the fourth race, has gone with a confident win selection. Tommy Riss, number 9, in a race number 4 for an informer Gareth Van Zyl stable. Race number 5 now. This is can be described as a trappy. It is the fillies and mares lowly handicap 76. They're going over the 1750. And you've got a field of 16, provisionally carded. Of course, we've got the one reserve. That is number 16, Roy's Rocker. But a runner that we have seen in form lines in recent times that we discussed today is the Mascarina, number 10, and that'll be partnered by Richard Fourie, who partnered in the first 2 starts as second and a winner, then post-maiden, not disgraced, behind Minogue. How do you rate Mascarina's chances in this field of hard knockers?
She certainly must have a big chance. Close up, post-maiden effort. If you like her chances, you have to have healthy respect for number 9, Celtic Beauty, who finished slightly ahead of her. Cecil, I think you can make a case for quite a few fillies over here and mares. But I like the fact that the blinkers come off number 6, Faiza. Last time out, she was overdoing it terribly. And now she also gets an apprentice who's riding with a lot of confidence, helping her by giving her that 2.5 kilogram allowance off her back. So I think she's got a possibility of reversing that form with Escapologist, who actually was unfortunate in last start, albeit a winner. She raced wide. So I think there's quite a bit of merit in her last victory. And then Pinstripe, this filly's, the penny has finally dropped for her. Just got touched off last time out. She'll be doing her best work late. So I'll make this a very open handicap.
Mr. Burrows, we do know that the owner of number 8, Wonderful, seems to think that the horse can go places, and he's got some useful sorts in his ownership. The one that comes to mind is, of course, My Lady. So we're talking of a DJ Jazzy D Racing, Pty Limited, Mr. C. Malou. Where do you rate that? Do you give it any sort of a chance in this race? In this race, does come down slightly as far as quality of field. Average rating is 76, whereas the last one was 80.
I don't like it, to be honest. I haven't included her. She won on the poly. She was beaten 5 lengths by Celtic Beauty 3 runs back. I think the best handicapped horses to me are numbers 9 and 10, because I think they're going places and they're well ahead of the handicapper. So starting with Celtic Beauty, very impressive in her penultimate start, and I thought this filly is decent. She followed it up running second to Minogue, who is a proper racehorse. And I think this filly could take a lot of beating. But I do have respect for Mascarena. She's got a terrific turn of foot. She was only a length and a quarter off Minogue, so there was nothing separating both of them at the line. And I think they'll finish very close together once again. So I like 9 and 10 to fight it out. And then I like Lady Canton with 52.5 kilos and Pinstripe for minor money.
So that kind of a race. Let's see what you've done in your jackpot. You've just gone the 2 horses, and then you've virtually gone the field in legs at 2, and definitely the field in leg number 4. And that's for an outlay of 648 Rand. That is race 5, the first leg of jackpot 2. We have a feature that will be coming up. That is race number 7. Right now, we're focusing on another lowly handicap. This is a merit rated 74. They're going over the 1,200 meters. And we start off with Mr. Marie. Now, again, it's a field of a 9, so it dropped back in quantity. But again, the trappy nature of the race itself does not deter. What are you looking at in this race? Is there a bit of value we can be looking at?
I think if you're looking for the value, it could possibly be number 3, Quick Star. I think the current weak favorite is Aldrak. Now, if you go back to the super fast run, he's 8.5 kilograms better off for 2-length beating. So maybe he's the value, but I don't know if he's better around a bend. Doesn't really run his best races up the Scottsville Straight, but at the weights, he could be the upset material. Intrepid, last time out, never in doubt, but he did pick up a hefty penalty. But I could see him featuring again. Bomb Bomb, nice debut in the province. Not much separating himself and Gimme a Rainbow on that start. Gimme a Rainbow was interfered with in the latter stages, and I think he could possibly get the run of the race because usually Benny in the area goes very quick up front, and he's drawn alongside him. So maybe Richard can just slot in and get the perfect toe through. But yeah, Cecil, you can even go as far as saying this is a field event.
I think Mr. Burrows did that in his jackpot, which started in race number 5. Now, as far as race number 6, if you were to isolate some sort of a bet for us, Mr. Burrows, which way would you go? A swinger bet or a boxed exacta? Where would we go?
You could get away with a boxed exacta with Bomb Bomb all the time and Intrepid. Now, Intrepid, he's very capable on his day, and it was really good to see him back to best with the blinkers fitted last time out. He trotted up at Scottsville. He can win again. All the times in cracking form, gets on very well with Rachel Venica. He'll be competitive, but he is a Greyville 1,400 meter specialist. So I'm going to have to favor Intrepid over all the time. And I was impressed with Bomb Bomb's comeback run over 1,200 meters. I think he's looking for 14, but the Scottsville testing 1,200, he'll be thereabouts.
So 124 could be the way to go as far as the boxed exact is concerned for this merit rated 74. It's over the 1,200 meters. As far as Mr. Marie, well, where would we be without that pick 3, which starts in race number 6? He's brassed all the time. In this case, he's gone 1, a 3, 4, and a 6 in that first leg. Quick Star, he did say at the beginning of his input to race 6, the 4 Intrepid, and the 6 Give Me a Rainbow. Second leg will be the feature of the afternoon, and then it's pretty wide at the back, 3, 5, 6, and 16. Well, race number 7, that is that feature that I did allude to earlier on. It is a non-black type of Fever Tree Stakes. It's over the 1,500 meters, and race 7 sees the return to the tracks of one Raw victory last seen here on the Highveld, winning the Summer Cup for Muzieni and trainer Nathaniel Kotson. Now, it seems to run well fresh. If you look at the stats, 4 times it's come back from arrest, a win, a second and a third. But I think we've been down this road before that we're going to take with Mr. Burrows, and that concerns the horse just one notch down in the race card in race number 7, and that is the Legs of Thunder, Imlenzi Yokutuduma, that is in the Hollywood Silks. I know that it is a selection of sorts for you. You're loyal to this horse, and hopefully your loyalty is rewarded on Sunday, Mr. Burrows.
Yes, I've always been a big fan of this horse. He's just a lovely looking horse, got a beautiful action. I think 1500 meters is probably ideal for him because 14 slightly on the sharp side and he does see out a mile, but 1500 ideal. He was beaten by a very good sprinter in Gladiatorian who just outsprinted him that final 100 meters of the race last time out. 2 runs back, ran second to Former Gear, but was still in need of that run. I believe he'll reverse the form with Former Gear. I made the Danger Royal Victory, even though he's probably not 100% for this race. He can come out fresh and just about win. But I think Emilenzi Yokodaduma, I think he's worth a small bet at around 33 to 10 or 7 to 2.
Right, so it's a Royal Victory at a 2-1, Mr. Marie, 7-2, Imlens Yokodaduma, and then it's the 10 rather, Former Gear at 4-1, and Nebulat at the 1, that is Shampompa Shampizi back to winning ways last time out, albeit by the narrowest of margins into 7-1 from 8-1. Now, we're talking about the sprinter that beat Imlens Yokodaduma last time out, of course, comes out of a good form line, ran second, if memory serves me right, in the Merchants on Summer Cup Day to subsequent Cape Flying Championship winner Dice.
Correct. Yes, Cecil. I thought that was a lovely effort on his behalf. You know, he actually loomed up the winner, and then Sean Veal came and grabbed him on the post under the hands. But anyway, this was, like Darren says, if you just see him, he's such a imposing son of a dynasty. He's really lovely just to look at, and he deserves another victory. But if you like his chances, you certainly can't discount Former Gear.
Yeah.
I think he's 2 kilograms better off with Former Gear on his penultimate start, but that was his second run, whereas Former Gear was having his first run after layoff. So there shouldn't be too much separating the two of them. Former Gear, since the blinkers have been removed and he's settled towards the back of the field and be given a chance, his form is outstanding. So I like the look of the two of them to fight it out. I've got a preference for Emilenzi Yokodaduma over Former Gear. And then Royal Victory, since the blinkers have been removed and he's been stepped up in tripped, he's certainly found his feet. I think the 1500 with the blinkers, slight concern. At the ratings, he's lost to beat, but I think he'll be doing his best work late.
Thank you so much. And that is the story of the feature. The features have certainly been a highlight on a Sunday afternoon, all non-black type, but certainly do bring out a good contest. Royal Victory and Imlens Yokodaduma on paper look to be the ones that certified it out, but don't ignore the 10 Former Gear. And, of course, don't ignore the selection from Mr. Darren Burrows. Let us put that up for race number 7, and that is number 6, Imlens Yokodaduma. And that will be a winner bet. So 16 slightly on the far side, 14 slightly on the sharp side. We found the middle ground, and that'll be 1,500 meters for Sunday's feature on the afternoon.